Welcome back to Viral Podcast. And today's episode, we have pro gamer Bullet joining us. But before we start, quick shout out to our sponsors over at Noble Chairs. Bullet, welcome. How are you today?
Yeah, well, thank you, man. Yourself?
I'm good. It's Saturday. It's quiet. Nothing going on, so it's nice. It's good to relax.
Yeah, I bet.
So I hear the accent. Where are you from?
So I'm from Sydney, Australia.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
what was life like out in Australia?
I was pretty nice. I mean, I had all my family around and nearby, so I mean that was definitely one of the more enjoyable aspects. But yeah, I mean now I'm in Austin and the weather's relatively similar. Like it's kind of like dry heat,
Yeah.
so it's not too bad.
Good. Yeah, it's the first day of spring, and I've been seeing posts about people saying it's still in the high 90s out there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what it is in
All
freedom
right, not spring.
units
What I
or the
say?
conversion, but
Yeah, fall. My bad. Um, so you're a pro gamer, and what team are you on now?
So at the moment, I'm playing. I'm a content creator for Native, but I'm building my own team.
Oh, very nice. Do you have a name for that team?
Yeah, not yet, not yet.
Yeah,
We're working on that. It's a work in progress.
good. What games are you guys working to have pro players for?
So at the moment, I play Apex Legends professionally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's like the basically like the only game that I play
yeah. And how long have you been playing that one?
since 2019. So it's been a couple of years now.
Good.
Yeah.
Outside of Apex, do you have other games that you're interested in?
Not particularly. I mean, I kind of like live and breathe Apex at this point. I'm always playing the game, and I think it's pretty important to do that if you want to play well and you want to succeed. So I'm kind of like locked in just playing Apex at the moment.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. How how many hours a day would you say you play and practice on Apex?
I mean, I try and balance it out as best as I can, but I'd say it's around like 7 to 8 hours, like minimum. I like try and keep it around that.
Okay,
So yeah, I'd say that's like a good estimate.
yeah, that's a good amount of time. Now, do you practice alone, or do you practice with the team, or your team that you're putting together, or do you split that time?
It's definitely a bit of both. So I definitely do a lot of individual practice, like day to day, and then I also try and mix it in with team practice. Because at the moment we're trialing different players. So
Yeah.
my current teammate is Sivian, and we're just looking for a really good third player
Okay.
to pick up. But yeah, we're like trialing different players, and yeah, I mean that's kind of roughly how I've divvied up the time, I guess.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So, I was looking at Native's website. I saw that they have two teams. They have red and black. Um, are you are you part of either one
That's
of
for
the?
the Halo team.
Oh, that's for
That's
Halo.
for one
Okay,
of the.
okay.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
is
yeah.
their Apex side split up like that, or are they?
No, so basically they just have like a single Apex team at the moment.
Okay. Now to move from Australia to the U.S., it was this your first time in the U.S.?
So I've been to the US before,
Uh huh.
but this is definitely my first time being here for like an extended period of time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at the moment I'm still like adjusting to like the big like lifestyle change and everything like that. Not being close to my family is a tough one to get over.
Yeah.
But I'm like working through everything slowly, and yeah, I'm starting to feel like really comfortable here. I moved in with two, like one pro player and a content creator,
Oh, nice.
in Austin. Yeah, I don't know if you know We the People or Onmu, both fucking amazing people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super fortunate with my situation at the moment.
That's good. I'm sure it helps bring comfort to be able to be surrounded by people with like-minded mindsets and all that.
100%. Yeah, no, it makes a huge difference. I'm very
Yeah.
fortunate.
What would you say is the largest culture shock you've had going from life in Australia to life in Texas and the U.S.?
Um, I'd probably have to say it's the food. The food's like
Yeah.
really different here. Like there's a lot of options. Like it's insane to me. Like you guys just have like options for everything. And on top of that, like a lot of the food, like there's like healthy food and then there's like really unhealthy
Yeah.
food and also the portions, dude. The portions are crazy. Like here, if you get like I don't know, like a medium sized packet of fries or something
Yeah.
or a medium sized drink. It's like the large in Australia.
Oh
It's
wow.
insane.
That's not the
Yeah.
first time I've heard that. It's we seem to have the largest portions out of all the countries that are out there. Like especially with your
Yeah.
Asian countries, their portions are super small.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. That was a big culture shock for me. Like ordering something and like getting a large and then the large being like as big as my head and I'm just
Oh
like
man.
what the hell am I supposed to eat this?
What would you say is your favorite food you've had here?
Um damn, that's a tough one. I've really out of all the fast food places I'd say I probably enjoyed Chick-fil-A the
Oh,
most.
I was gonna ask if you've had it yet.
Um Yeah, no, I have. I haven't tried a lot of fast food places. Like I've tried Five Guys and In and Out, and they're both really good.
Yeah.
But I haven't tried like some of the other like I guess like more niche ones or like the ones that are like less common.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely super keen to try them all because I've heard good things about
There you go.
different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite food out in Australia?
Oh, my favorite food out in Australia. I mean, I'd definitely have to say like home cooking.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. My family does some like amazing recipes, so I definitely can't argue with that one.
Okay. Favorite family dish then?
Ooh, okay. Well, I come from a Greek background,
Oh, nice.
and yeah. So my grandma makes these like they're like Greek meatballs. They're called giftedes. They're fucking
Oh,
phenomenal. So yeah, I'd have to say like those are probably like my favorite.
what are they called again?
Giftedes.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. No, they're really nice.
Is it a like a family special recipe or are they a very traditional way
I
of being
I
made?
think it is like it's like I don't know. My grandma's basically got like this amazing like cookbook of like recipes that she's like kind of collected over the
That's
years.
awesome.
Like it's insane. Yeah, and her food's literally like just the best.
Nice.
So yeah.
Now your time in the U.S., is this going to be something permanent, or do you think you'll find your way back to Australia?
To be honest, like I'm definitely not sure.
Yeah.
I guess like it's something that I'll kind of see as I go
Yeah.
and cross like all those bridges like when I get to them
Yeah.
type thing. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm definitely just enjoying the time that I have to be able to play and compete over here, where there's like more exposure and a higher skill group of players.
Right.
And so far, like I'm just like thoroughly enjoying that whole experience.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Definitely just soak it all up while you're here.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Now, so you made the decision to move here. Could you go through the events that led to this decision?
I mean, for me, it was a combination of things, but like one of them being like the greater levels of exposure. Like I knew in my mind, like if I was to stay in Australia, there wasn't really a pathway to I guess a like long term career in Australia.
Yeah.
Like it's extremely hard just because of the esports ecosystem
Yeah.
there. And so I knew that if I wanted to build a sustainable career, that I'd probably have like the best chance to do it in the US. So that's kind of why I decided to make the move. And I was very fortunate that my parents also were supportive in my decision.
That's awesome.
It was definitely tough for them, like because they they kind of didn't want me to go, but at the same time, like they knew it would help my career a lot. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I definitely I definitely think it was like a move for longevity.
yeah. What? It's good that you have your parents' support. It's so back when I was much younger, parents didn't see. I never thought that gaming was going to be a thing that you could make decent money with and have a career with.
Yeah.
Now, the career isn't always sustainable and long term, but I think if you make the best of it and you invest properly, it'll be well worth it. So, with that said, um, what were your parents' thoughts about the decision being made for gaming versus uh, uh, a job in a computer field or something like that?
It's funny that you mentioned that because that was probably the alternative, to be
Okay.
honest. But yeah, no. Basically, in 2019, when Apex was released, like the year it was
Hmm.
released, I was like really fortunate, and I qualified for the first LAN event, and that was in the US. So once I qualified for that event, I went and I played, and I my parents like watched and saw like I had like a crowd, and there were like a lot of people watching. It was like a big thing with like money involved, and I guess like once they kind of started to see like that aspect of it, they were more understanding of the whole ecosystem, and like they kind of started to understand what was going on. And then later that year, I qualified for another event, or I was invited to another event, which was in Poland. And basically, like I think after those two events, they were like pretty lenient, I'd say. Like they kind of saw like, okay, it's looking like there's potential in this. There's like pretty big money to be made, and yeah, I mean, that really helped me.
That's good. Now,
Yeah.
are these LAN events where you ran into the native gaming team? How'd you meet
They
them?
they actually, yeah, so they weren't around back then. So basically, yeah, they Native didn't have a team back then. The way I actually got into contact with Native was in Australia. There's this phenomenal sports psychologist called Michelle Payne, and she had she was working with Native at the time, I
Yeah.
believe, and she knew that I was trying to get to NA, trying to move to NA, and I had just lost an opportunity to move to NA. Like an org was going to sign me, and then they bailed like last minute, unfortunately. But yeah, I think she saw or she knew that, and then she basically like, um spoke to the people at Native, and told them about me, and then yeah, I guess the ball was rolling, and set everything in motion.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was super awesome.
Yeah. Now, are you was this a contract-based agreement?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Once we went and settled everything, and got the contracts for it, it was contract based agreement.
Nice. Have you done any pro tournaments since joining?
Um, we've played. I think I played like one like official ALGS split,
Hmm.
and then we played a couple of other like smaller things. But yeah, I'd say we probably played about one actual official.
Okay. That's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
what would you, what is it like uh playing in pro tournaments compared to just playing online and maybe some unofficial capacity?
Well, in my opinion, when it comes to Apex, I think if I wasn't able to compete and play the game on like competitive level, I think I'd be pretty bored and burnt out of the game. It's like I don't know if it's just the way Apex is or whatnot, but once you hit like a certain amount of hours in a game, like the last thing that you kind of end up chasing is like competition, I
Yeah.
suppose. And yeah, in the case of Apex, um, scrimming and competing and playing tournaments against like the best of the best is so much more enjoyable than like ranked in the game.
Right.
It's just a completely different world, and there's always something that you can improve, something that you can change to better yourself. And I think that's like one of the most amazing aspects of the competitive side of this game.
Yeah. So you said you played tournaments that led you to pro gaming. Is it similar to how CS:GO? I believe CS:GO you have like subscription-based servers that you can join that
Yeah.
have semi-pro level players that are playing to try to get into the pro level. Is it similar to
S-
Apex?
So with Apex, it wasn't exactly the case. Apex started off with a kill race style tournament.
Hmm.
Just because of the way the game was set up, it wasn't like your standard like Valorant or Counter Strike where you can like set up a server whenever you want with however many players you want and then go from there.
Right.
Apex didn't really have the infrastructure at the beginning because it was only initially supposed to be a small game, and then obviously it exploded in popularity, and then that completely changed the game. But yeah, it didn't really have the infrastructure to begin with, so we did this thing back in 2019 called Q sniping,
Yeah.
which is basically we used to like ready up at the same time to get into the same lobbies with each other to
Okay.
play. So yeah, we used to do that. But the initial tournaments, to answer your main question, was we used to do kill races, which is basically people would go head to head in a certain time frame
Okay.
at the same time and try and get as many kills as possible. And then that was the determining factor for score, basically.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely a unique
yeah,
way to
yeah.
do it.
Definitely not like that anymore
Right.
because it's not very competitive. But
Right.
that's how it used to be.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
do you see the competitive side of Apex growing, or is there anything that you think they could do better?
I think there's always something someone can do better. Like in the case of Apex, they're doing a good job, but I definitely think like there's certain things holding the game back. I'm one of the people that believe Apex can probably be like one of the best esports in the entire world, hands down. If there are some slight changes in support to the game.
Yeah.
um, there's been a lot of news about the like Apex Legends and not wanting to do revenue share, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but like certain games like Valorant and like Counter Strike, they create skins in their game and they give a percentage of those skins to the teams and the players. And basically, it creates like a whole little ecosystem where the players get paid and the orgs can make money and everyone kind of benefits.
Yeah.
Like the game takes a cut and they make money, and it's just like a good ecosystem, and it just works for
Yeah.
everyone. But in the case of Apex Legends, like um, the publisher didn't really want to reach like a proper agreement. And yeah, I mean, it was just unfortunate. Like we had big orgs like Team Liquid pull out because they were just extremely unhappy with the way that the publisher was handling the whole revenue share
Gotcha.
process.
So the
Yeah.
custom skins, are they specific to the tournaments like that, where the viewers and all
They
that or buy into it, and then that revenue gets shared?
they would have been team-based
Yep.
skins. So just say like they'll put
Oh,
items
I
in the
see what you're
game
saying. Yeah.
and they'll be like, I don't know, it'll be like a TSM skin.
Yep.
So there'll be a certain character in the game with a TSM skin, and whoever buys that gives I don't know, like 40% of the
Gotcha.
profit to TSM
Gotcha.
and whatever to the publisher of the
Okay.
game. But yeah, unfortunately, that never came to fruition. So yeah, I
That
mean,
sucks.
little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Little things like that would help the game tremendously. Would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's unfortunate. I
hopefully,
think that's a
hopefully
great
like, we
way
see that soon.
to get the pro players paid. Because I mean, certain esports, I guess categories. It's not like League of Legends. League of Legends is one of the top money making pro games out there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
but a lot of it is because the people that watch are the ones helping fund all that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's got a whole ecosystem, right? You know, from the fans to the players, content creators,
Right.
everything. And it's pretty well supported. So
Yeah. Yeah,
goes to show what can happen when you invest into an esports scene properly.
I agree. Now, um, do the esports players in Apex get the opportunity to share their feedback to the publisher or the people who run these tournaments?
We definitely do, but in the case of Apex Legends, like they're developed by a company called Respawn,
Yep.
and then they're basically owned by EA. And unfortunately, when it comes to like I guess this type of a situation, there's a lot of people that certain decisions have to go through to get approved before they actually even come close to getting implemented. So yeah, I think unfortunately, like because there's so many people, things have to go by, and it's just like it's a bit of a mess,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that now we're entering like year 4 of AOGS, which is the Apex Legends Global Series, like the I guess the tournament side of Apex and
Uh-huh.
the esports side. Hopefully like this year we're gonna start to see some change with like because we had NRG leave like the other month,
Really?
basically like last couple of weeks. Yeah, we had NRG, which is a very big organization. They just left because of those kinds of issues with the esports scene.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, hopefully we see some improvement, and yeah, hoping for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they listen to the players and the people that are going to help bring that advertising to their platform. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I'd say Apex was probably the game that had one of the most successful, I don't know what they call it, day zero launches where there was no
yeah,
advertising, nothing. And then one
yeah,
day they're like, hey, we got this new game, check it out. And you have Apex.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
and it's unique.
No, they did a
It's,
phenomenal
yeah.
job.
And it's not like Call of Duty, right? Uh, it's not like all
Yeah,
those other battle royale games or FPS games. It's definitely a team based game where each 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 a legend has its skill that would benefit certain events and situations. Um,
yeah.
like it takes a lot of skill to be really good at Apex. So I respect the amount of work you put in to become a pro player. Whereas like
Yeah,
Call of
no,
Duty, you can jump
definitely
in
takes time.
and you can just shoot and kill. It's not like that with
Yeah.
Apex. You have to understand when to use certain things, and you know, if somebody picks one character, maybe you may want to pick another character that may supplement that character's ability.
Yeah, no, that's what I love about it, the variety and the depth that the game
Yeah,
has. And with the changes to the game every so often there's a lot that like there's a lot of variety that gets added. So
yeah.
it's definitely like really fun.
Now with the changes they've made, are there any changes that you and other pro players have enjoyed? And then on the other side of that, are there changes that you all have been really upset about?
Yeah, so definitely one thing that we really as a community we really disliked was wallhack meta, which is basically certain characters in the game that would give wallhacks.
Yeah,
So we had Bloodhound, we had the biggest one recently was Seer. And there's this character in the game called Seer that basically at its height um like threw their ability out, and once it hit you it was like a massive like cylinder, basically like it went out, and then once if it hit you in that cylinder
yeah.
it would do damage to you, it would scan you on wall hacks, it would like basically you'd be able to see what character it was, and you'd
Oh,
be able to see the exact amount of health they had,
oh wow.
and they'd stay spotted like that for a couple seconds. So
Okay.
yeah, it was pretty annoying. And then they redid the character, like they nerfed the character and then redid the character.
Yeah.
And the latest iteration before it got nerfed was basically the cylinder would hit you. You would have basically no time to react and jump out of the way of the cylinder. It would stun you for 2 seconds or like 2.5 seconds, where you literally cannot move. And then on top of that, you're still like scanned, wall hacked, and yeah, it was really busted. But thankfully we're out of that meta
That's good.
now. But yeah, no, it was wall hacks was like a really big issue that a lot of players had with the game. Unfortunately,
Yeah, that
I
sounds
don't think
pretty
it has
OP.
any place. Yeah, no, I don't think wall hacks have any place in any game, especially Apex. But yeah, because it takes away that integral game sense part of the game where you have to learn and understand and check corners and
Right.
stuff. Whereas you can just press like one button, and it just checks everything for you. I think that's a
Right.
bit dumb, but
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Uh, so that's something you guys didn't like. Um, was there anything that
yeah,
you guys
no.
actually uh enjoyed?
We've had a lot of different metas in Apex. There's been a lot of currently there's a really good meta. Like the game at the moment's in quite a good place. There's like two really aggressive characters that are in competitive meta, and then one passive anchor character.
Okay.
And I think where it's like a really fun combination at the
Yeah.
moment, similar to like one of the metas we had back in 2019, with Wraith, Pathfinder, and Watson. It was very similar, like two aggressive characters and one anchor.
Okay.
But yeah,
Nice.
current meta is really
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Um, so do you also coach?
No. So at the moment, I'm purely focused on playing competitively, and yeah, I guess that's like my main
Yeah.
focus. At the last LAN event, which was in London, I was invited to be on the broadcast as an
Oh,
analyst.
nice.
Which is yeah, that's actually where I met one of the viral guys, which was really awesome
Yep.
to meet one of you guys there. But yeah, no, I went there and I was on the analyst desk, and that was a pretty eye-opening
Yeah.
experience. But yeah, that was probably the closest thing I've ever got to being like, I guess, super analytical when it comes to Apex.
Now, did you also get to commentate, or was it just performing analysis and passing those notes to somebody?
No, so basically the way it would work is there would be the mid-game commentator, and then when the certain rounds would end, it would basically go to the analyst desk, and like that, I'd basically get the opportunity to break down certain things that happened by certain pro
Oh,
teams.
nice.
Yeah, no. So I was on the main broadcast, and it was pretty surreal
Yeah,
experience.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah, no, I loved it, and yeah.
Yeah. So if they asked you to come out again and maybe do it as a routine thing, you would take that?
Well, hopefully next time I go to LAN, I'm on the stage playing.
Yeah.
That's definitely my where I want to be.
Okay.
But I mean, hey, if I'm not up there playing for whatever reason, I definitely wouldn't mind doing that again.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
so what are some of the challenges you face as a pro player?
Um, some of the challenges I face as a pro player, I'd have to say, at the moment, the I guess divide between mouse and keyboard and controller.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you know too much about that in Apex, but basically like controller and mouse and keyboard are basically put head to head, and it's like super uncommon. Like I can't think of any other games that have such a I guess stark like input head to head
Yeah.
type esport. But yeah, Apex basically has like both inputs playing alongside each other and against each other in comp. And yeah, I think like with the way that the game is at the moment, I definitely say it favors playing on controller.
Oh, really?
So yeah, being on mouse and keyboard and making sure that your mechanics are up to par to be able to like do damage and just be like an overall like really good player
Hmm.
has been a good, I guess like a good challenge for me to just push myself beyond my limits,
Yeah.
to improve and to do well. But yeah, I'd say that's probably been like one of the bigger challenges, like the input disparity.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't think of I would have never thought that a controller would be the better method to play the game over keyboard mouse,
Yeah.
especially with a game where it's
See,
it's it's FPS, right?
100%. But the thing is, the way Apex works is it's like a long time to kill, basically. So um like if it was like a high time to kill, so like just say one shot, headshot, dead,
Uh-huh.
it would be mouse and keyboard
Yeah.
dominated. But since it's like a long time to kill, um, it basically kind of favors controller. And another aspect of it is like the way that controller works close range. It just like it works really well within Apex,
Okay.
and like, that's basically why like one of the best players in the world, Imperial House, swapped to controller. It just made more sense
Yeah.
for his play style. Um, and yeah, I mean he was just able to do really well once he did that. So
Okay. Huh. I'll have to try that. I'll have to try Apex with a controller one day.
yeah, no, it's definitely different. I suck at controller, so like
It's hard for
I
me.
can't use controller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's only a handful of games
I
that I can play with a controller, and that's like Rocket League or
yeah.
anything that's like Fall Guys or the new game Party Animals.
Yeah, I'm shocking on controller. I definitely am not good, but yeah, no, I grew up playing a lot of mouse and keyboard, like Halo
Yeah.
and whatnot on PC. But yeah, no, it's definitely something
Yeah.
compared to other games where they're like dominated by one input.
Oh,
It's
right.
definitely it's definitely weird, like having that disparity.
Yeah. Now you said when you grew up playing games, what was your first game you've ever played?
Um, I mean, I probably played like I don't know, like Rayman on PlayStation
Okay.
One, like a long time ago. It'd probably be something like that. Like that's definitely like a throwback for me.
Yeah.
But like the first PC game that I remember playing, like the proper first PC game, was probably Halo. I
Halo. Okay.
used to play like a lot of Halo Combat Evolved, like Halo One.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I think it basically like spiraled from there to like different games like Team Fortress Two
Okay.
and yeah, like progressively, like just as games came out, like I think I played like CS when I was like really young too, and then eventually I got to PUBG, which was like my first
Yeah.
BR game,
Yep.
and then that's where I saw the competitive side of games, and that's kind of like where I got the idea to play competitively
Okay.
when Apex hit. So yeah.
Nice. So you definitely favored FPSs.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
I grew up playing FPS games, and I just yeah, I stuck with that the
Yeah.
whole time. I find like a lot of other games to be like relatively boring. Like I haven't even tried League of Legends. Like I take one look at that game and I just like yeah, I don't know. Just doesn't look like it's for me. So
It was too toxic for me. I've tried it once, and the first
yeah.
day, like they are relentless. They have no respect for anybody who's new.
Yeah.
And I got trash talked the entire time. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm uninstalling. I'm done with this game.
I've heard a lot of similar stories from other people, so
Yeah,
kind of doesn't surprise me to be honest.
yeah, they're
But yeah.
definitely a league of elite people, from what I've been experiencing.
Yeah, no, that's
um,
it's kind of funny.
yeah. So, what inspires you and motivates you?
Um, that's a tough one. I'd have to say it's a combination of factors for me. A big thing for me is like this was basically like my like a big dream of mine to come play in NA and to compete, and I guess esports in general. I always used to like when I was younger, like watch different like esports tournaments like Counter Strike and whatnot, and I was always like, wow, that looks like amazing. Like there's nothing that I'd rather be doing than like sitting up on a stage playing in front of like thousands of people, like hundreds of thousands of people. I always thought that was like such an amazing thing, and I was very like envious of like all those pros that I used to watch like back in the day when I was younger.
Hmm.
So that was a big thing. So yeah, I think like once I kind of got the opportunity to move to the US, it really like changed a lot of things for me, and and yeah, I it's like a very big source of motivation, being able to chase your dreams, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's. I think it'd be pretty fun to play a major game under the spotlight and in front of a crowd. Which
Yeah.
which brings up another question of mine. When you're when you're out there at a LAN and you're playing in front of people. Um,
Yeah.
do they? From what I understand, most they have noise canceling headphones, so you can't hear the
Yeah,
crowds. And then you can
that's correct.
also commentators also the crowd can hear. It's so. Does any of that distract at all, or are you guys set up to a point to where you can't even hear any of those distractions?
So with Apex, we have like these really like fancy noise canceling headphones that play like the in-game audio and like do noise canceling at the same
Okay.
time. So when you're wearing them, like a lot of noise does go away,
Yeah.
but certain situations where like I don't know, just say you're sitting in a corner and there's a whole team like in front of you and you're like, you've made a sneaky play or whatever, and just say the crowd goes like mental, like you will hear them.
Yeah.
You will definitely hear
Okay.
like, like 500 people going like,
Yeah.
oh, like, yeah, you definitely hear things like that. And it's insane, like the rush of adrenaline you get
Oh, I
like when
bet.
you're on stage like that and there's like people like yelling. It's like it's such an amazing feeling. And it's one of the things, like one of my favorite things about like esports and playing competitively. But yeah, no, it's definitely, you definitely notice those
Okay.
things, but when you're in the moment it tends to go away like really quickly. Like you kind of snap back into things insanely
Yeah.
quick and then just focus on the game and play. But yeah, no, it is awesome when stuff like that
Oh,
happens.
I'm sure it's probably what a huge boost of confidence too, huh?
Yeah, no, when yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many like different things. Like sometimes like people have used like those kinds of situations to like know that something's wrong or something, or they should like look around and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
No, sometimes it can be used against other people, but I mean it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah. What were your nerves like the first time you ever been on stage?
Um so the first time I actually played on a LAN was for a PUBG event back in
Okay.
2018. And I was like, I don't know, it was different for me back then because I was younger and I didn't really understand like what I was doing.
Hmm.
So I don't know, like when I went in and I competed, I was kind of like almost like fearless. I didn't really care. I just kind of played the game. Because it was like, I don't know, it was so different for me back then, and I didn't really mind. But then when I got to like my second and third LAN, like the one that I played in the US and the one in Poland, it was like there was a lot more on the line for me. So it was like I definitely had more nerves there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's funny because like normally the first one's the one that's like the most intense, crazy one. But yeah, no, I think like the first one I didn't really, because there wasn't as much on the line in terms of like I didn't have like a career, like I was still at school, so I didn't really like, it didn't feel like everything was on the line for me.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Yeah, when I was like properly into Apex and there was like a lot more on the line, it was definitely a lot more intense
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. Um,
Yeah,
now, what would you say would be your most memorable moment?
yeah. Ooh, that's a tough
Yeah.
one. That is definitely a tough one. I think I think my most memorable moment was probably making finals in Sweden in, I think it was 2022.
Okay.
That was like really really awesome because at that event I basically started playing a character called Crypto,
Yep.
who I had never practiced prior to that event. I just kind of like, we got killed by a Crypto team in one game, and I saw that. I was frustrated. I was like, okay, fuck this. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to
Oh,
swear.
I
My
don't care.
apologies.
Yeah,
But
you're fine.
I was like, all right. I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm playing this character, and this is what I want to do. And I don't know, like my team just kind of trusted me. I picked up the character, like never practiced with my team with this character ever. Like I had barely played the character like in the game that much. And yeah, I just kind of picked him up and we just started doing really well. And this character's like not very easy to play. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of picked it up on the spot. It made sense for us. Like we were playing really
Uh-huh.
well. And then when it came to winners bracket finals, we literally came fifth, and like we had like one of the like a really iconic play that we had that was like like a lot of people saw it. It was like a really cool moment
That's awesome.
where basically like I was EMPing a bunch of teams on the edge. We just had like superior positioning, and there was like two or three teams fighting. It was like Cloud9 and NRG and like a couple. I don't remember who else it was, but yeah, I basically EMP'd. Everyone had Gibby bubbles down. I don't know if you know Gibraltar. You know, like the big
Yeah, yeah,
dome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had like three of those down. They were all fighting, and the EMP basically counters that
Oh,
dome. So everyone threw their domes out to fight. They threw their ults out to fight each other, and then I took away all their cover,
oh man,
basically. So they're all sitting there like fighting out in the open. We walk up and we just killed the whole lobby.
that's awesome.
It was like such a sick, yeah, it was like such a
Okay,
sick
yeah,
moment.
that's fun. Nice.
Yeah, and on land, and the commentators are going crazy and
Yeah,
everything, and it was definitely really
and
cool.
that kind of alludes back to what I was saying, where it's like that Apex is that kind of game where if you know the different abilities that'll counter other things and know when to use it, I mean that makes you a great player.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the best IGLs are really good at understanding what teams have what characters and then their weaknesses
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
and using it against them.
yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool, man. Um,
yeah, that's a cool aspect for the game for
oh,
sure.
definitely. So, what would you believe is one of your weaknesses, and what are you doing to improve that?
So in the past, I'd say probably it would be along the lines of my mental. Like I think it was just like it was a combination of having like um different days where like I wouldn't be as confident in my own abilities as other
Hmm.
days, and so that would lead to a very like a pretty inconsistent performance. And that was like very frustrating as a player and as a competitor, you know, not being as consistent as you'd want to. And even with a consistent schedule or routine, it wouldn't really have that much of an impact.
Right.
So a big thing for me was like making sure I was like eating really healthy and also getting a lot of exercise.
Okay.
um, and yeah, I think that was like those two were probably like the biggest factors in, I guess, like leveling out the like any stress that I had. And yeah, I mean, I think after I kind of did that, my confidence went up a lot. And yeah.
Nice. Now, if you could go back and do something different, what would that be?
So basically in Apex, there's this ability in the game. Well, not really an ability, but something that wasn't supposed to be in the game called tap strafing,
Okay.
which basically like mouse and keyboard players can use their scroll wheel to tap strafe. And basically it lets you do like 180-degree turns basically.
Oh,
Like you can literally like slide jump, and you can mid-air turn and keep all your momentum. Like it's insane. Like you can do like zigzags, you can like do all this like crazy movement stuff. And if I was to like go back in 2019 when the game first started, because this was only discovered in like 2021 or something,
okay.
so I literally would have had like 2 years where I could have like done this. No one would have had a
Yeah.
clue what was going on. I literally would have like been like I don't know, like I literally would have been able to hit like some crazy
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and everyone would have just been freaking out. It would have been hilarious.
Plenty of clips would have been had, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would have been so funny.
I actually didn't know that was a thing. So did they patch it since?
Yeah. No, so they actually kept it in the game because they thought, so basically like the whole thing of like the different inputs is like mouse and keyboard has like movement
Yeah.
and controller has aim
Yep.
assist.
Oh,
So
that's true. Okay.
yeah, they didn't want to remove even though it was completely unintentional, it ended up balancing aim assist out a little
Yeah.
bit. So they didn't really want to remove it and then have to balance aim assist as well, I guess.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um so what is some advice you would give to everyone out there who is interested in becoming a pro gamer?
I think like above all else, if you want to play professionally or competitively, you really need to have like a big drive to compete. Like you need to be like pretty relentless. I won't lie. Um, you need to be able to grind the game, play like 9 hours a day, roughly. You just have to be able to. You basically need to be addicted. To be completely honest, you need to be
Yeah.
addicted. You just need to be playing like a stupid amount of time to just be better than everyone else. And yeah, I think that's like a big part of it, like time commitment and being relentless. Big aspects of it. And I think unless you're like crazy talented, you're just naturally talented. Like you're just gonna need to put in the hard work. And if you're not relentless and you're not like just addicted to grinding and putting in the work, well, it's yeah. I mean, it's not really possible to be at the highest of high levels. So
Yeah.
I think that's like a big thing. Um, so yeah, if you're not just I don't know crazy talented or you're addicted to doing like the hard work, I think it's pretty tough to make it
Yeah.
in an already oversaturated market, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Good words to follow. Um, so this is completely off topic, but I'd like to throw in
Go
some
for it.
random questions.
Yeah.
What role would you play during a zombie apocalypse?
Um, that's a tough one. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'd be really good at like building a base or
Yeah.
something. Like building a like a I don't know like a base or you know what I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
fortifying a certain area
Okay.
or like
Yeah.
constructing like a yeah something like that. I feel like I'd be pretty good at something like
Nice.
that, or at least planning it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
Like an
how
architect
far I'd
or
go, but
construction.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, like designing like a smart plan to like like funnel zombies and
Nice.
shit like through certain areas. Probably I don't know
That'd be pretty
something like
cool.
that. Yeah, I reckon.
Oh yeah. All right. And last question for you. If people wanted to check you out, watch your content, where would they go?
Probably on Twitter. I mean, I have TikTok. I have YouTube. I have Twitch. Twitter. All of them. BulletL. So yeah, you can look me up and find me there. And I put out plenty of Apex content. And yeah,
Oh yeah.
feel free to hit up my Twitch and ask me any questions. I stream almost every day. So
Nice.
yeah,
And what platform? Twitch.
Twitch.
Okay. All right.
Stream on Twitch. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Bullet, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Enjoyed the conversation with you and getting to understand what it's like to be an Apex Pro player.
Thank you so much, man. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. And yeah, no, I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem. And did you want to give any shout outs to anybody while you're here?
Um, maybe native for I guess like connecting me with you guys. You guys have done such a phenomenal job. Like you guys have like both the PCs that I currently use in my setup, which do like literally help me on day to day. Like I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the viral PCs that I have. So yeah,
Awesome.
I'd say big shout out to you guys. To be honest,
Appreciate you. Well,
yeah,
everyone,
no, thank you so much.
definitely give BulletL a follow on all his socials. Go watch him on Twitch. Check out his gameplay. And at any point, if there's a tournament going on, let us know. We'll share it on our socials.
Appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah, no
much.
problem. And definitely check us out at Viral Tech on all our socials and viraltech.com. Thanks again, Bullet. And until next time, you all take care.
Thank you.